Hello everybody, this is Havoc with some pretty fantastic news. Announced this last week at PAX West, it looks like we are finally getting back into space with Homeworld 3. For those that don't know of the Homeworld series, to put it bluntly, it is a real-time strategy space game, and one of the favorites of my early strategy gaming hobby. Developed by Blackbird Interactive and published by Gearbox, it's been 15 years since the last true Homeworld game in space, and I'm very excited about the prospect of the series being started up again, as it was something I assumed would just never happen. Not all is sunshine and roses about this announcement, however. Hidden behind that trailer is an extremely shady business practice that is in no way benefiting the consumer, and it seems more like a bait and switch than anything else, but we'll get to that later in the video. As always, let's dive in. Homeworld, as mentioned in the intro, is a real-time space strategy game. Unlike other space games like Sins of a Solar Empire or even Stellaris, Homeworld focuses almost exclusively on the space combat side of the strategy genre. There are some aspects of empire management, if you will, with your mothership, but the majority of your time will be deploying ships, managing your fleet through groups, and figuring out how to work around the 3D aspects of ship-to-ship battles. This will technically be the 5th game in the series despite the name Homeworld 3. Homeworld Cataclysm released in 2000 and was considered a standalone game, much like Fall of the Samurai for Shogun 2. Homeworld Deserts of Karak released just 3.5 years ago, and it's actually a prequel that took place 100 years before the first Homeworld and was played on the planet's surface, not in space. And even though we do have HD remasters of Homeworld 1 and 2, they aren't considered as official titles in this series. Looking at the trailer, there are some seriously nostalgic vibes coming through, from the ships and their iconic trails to the voiceovers that are just too true to the original series.
Recon team, stand by for gate sequence initiation.
Copy that.
And it all looks very, very stunning. The announcement reveals next to nothing about the game, but it sure as heck still gets me excited. All that's gleaned from the website is a vague 2022 release, and that the game will take place following the events of Homeworld 2, with the opening of the hyperspace gates that will lead the Kushan to a yet unknown era of space travel. Pretty open to interpretation and speculation, and I'll leave that to you guys. If you played the Homeworld series, what do you think Homeworld 3 will be about? Be sure to let me know in the comments section down below. If the trailer was all that was given to us, I think the community as a whole would be extremely satisfied. Unfortunately, that is not all. I want to start this part of the video by stating that both Blackbird and Gearbox have publicly announced that Homeworld 3 is 1. Already a few months into pre-production, and 2. Is already a fully funded game. This means that everything is already in place to meet that potential 2022 release without another penny devoted to it. Well, what do we have here? A FIG campaign on a platform not unlike Kickstarter or GoFundMe. That's right. A game that is already being produced and already has enough funding is asking you, the community, a pension financially, with a minimum $50 tier, mind you, to give the longtime community a chance to invest in Homeworld 3's success, quote unquote. To further emphasize the point of not needing your money, they made the campaign just $1, ensuring that whatever they make from this, they'll get it no matter what. And at the time of this script writing, I'm looking at over $420,000 already from over 2,300 backers. Maybe you're asking yourself or telling yourself, well, even though it's fully funded, pledging towards this campaign is worth it because I'll have a voice in development. And sure, that's one of their ways to get you invested. The more you pledge, the more you'll get to be a part of the quote-unquote success of the game. The kicker is, this isn't some indie dev team with a couple of guys looking to revive an otherwise forgotten series. These are veteran developers, many of whom worked for Relic during the original Homeworld titles. They know what they're doing, what they expect in a Homeworld game, and how they want to develop it. Anyone who's ever supported a game on Kickstarter knows that more often than not, your voice is not unique. It is one voice in a room of potentially thousands. To play on the heartstrings of a long-standing Homeworld community by saying they'll get to have a true voice in development is not just bullshit in execution, but a rather gross practice of just using that community for monetary gain. You aren't a voice, you're a dollar sign to them, plain and simple. To further that point, I present you the bait and switch. In the FAQs on the campaign site, there is a lovely innocent question: which platforms will you support? Innocent indeed, but in 2019 we know exactly what this gamer is asking, but the answer is even more golden. Quote, "It is just too early to make any decisions, but will of course be on PC," end quote. Excluding the exciting prospect of seeing Homeworld on a console, Gearbox gave us the answer we knew was coming, but we didn't really want to hear, that they won't exclude the possibility of an Epic exclusive. Now, I don't really agree with Epic exclusives. I think it's a relatively garbage practice of shoveling out money to buy a game's release platform. I don't have a problem releasing a game on Epic as long as I have other options to buy it on. Give me Steam, give me GOG as well, I don't care. I want the option to choose where to buy instead of being forced to buy it on a specific platform. But it's the evasion of saying that Homeworld won't go Epic exclusive that really shows where their true intentions are at. What about all those several thousand backers that will probably end up giving you over $1 million towards development? What if they in unison say they don't want an Epic Store exclusive, but Gearbox goes ahead with it? Where's that voice now? Where's the reason for supporting it? It's nowhere, and that's the worst part. We've seen too many games this year and last year, and even more specifically strategy games, that have been first funded by supporters on Kickstarter who wanted their voices to be heard, only to then be backstabbed by greedy developers who want that big payout from an Epic Store exclusive. That is what scares me the most, and what this community should think about before supporting Homeworld 3. So it leaves me torn. I am beyond excited about Homeworld 3. I'm eager to learn where the game is going, what the scenario is, and how they plan to bring this early 2000s strategy game into the 2020s of strategy gaming. And no doubt it will be an extremely interesting game, one that would be successful completely on its own without any support. But supporting an already fully funded game, not to mention it's going to be at least 3 years in development, and one that seemingly won't potentially really listen to their supporters, and leaves a bad taste in my mouth and just has me thinking,
not like this. Not like this.
Thanks for watching this video. As always, be sure to let me know what you think on the subject at hand. If you enjoyed this style of video, subscribe to the channel. That way you'll always be up to date with everything strategy. Be sure to check out my Discord and my Patreon for ways to support the channel. This is HforHavoc, and I'll catch you in the next video.